We should be live. How are we doing, everybody? Hi, dry spell. Hope you're well. Hope you're good. I'll put my camera on in a sec. I'm just finishing me ciggy. So, how's things with you, dry spell? Are you well? It's been a stressful couple of days here in Crewe, Cheshire. Oh, has it been a stressful couple of days? There's been protests outside Webb House, as you know, not far from me at all. A stone's throw. And it's been stressful. There's been some kicking off. Nowhere near as 25 people arrested for public disorder, but there has been some kicking off, and I wouldn't be surprised if one or two have been arrested, or cautioned, or get fined, or whatever. Let me just get me bits and my bobs ready. My bits and my bobs. I was watching TikTok before coming live. Here we are, here I am. Boom. I'm here. So, yeah, protests at Webb House. Let me get you a picture of Webb House. You can't really see it on Google Maps. Let's go to Nub News. The Nub News got some decent pictures normally. No. Nope. So yeah, this is Webb House. It's a mad angle they took that picture at. This is the front bit. This is the entrance. This is where everybody's gathered. Just along here. So on the 29th of April, this building was raided by 500 police officers. This building's called Webb House, and it houses quite a number. The number of how many lived there is unknown to myself. It's estimated around 1,000 to 1,500. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't know how many lived there. On the 29th of April, 10 to 9 a.m., 500 police officers raided the property, arrested 10 people for allegations of modern slavery, forced marriage, and SA. 5 of those people that were arrested out of those 10 are on... Well, all 10 have got conditional bail. 5 of them have got slavery and trafficking orders, like interim injunction orders, stopping them from coming back to Crewe. They're not allowed other people's passports. They've got to hand their passports in. They've got to sign in with the police, let the police know where they are. And yeah, like I said, not allowed back to Crewe at this moment in time. Since then, since Sunday, police finished their searches of the property. They've been seen like digging and doing all sorts in there. After they concluded their searches, many locals and YouTubers, TikTokers, have all gone down to protest, as they simply don't want this organisation in the town. They don't want it. There seems to be the air of, although it's supposed to be innocence before guilt, until you're proven in a court of law, it's like people have made their minds up. They've had enough now. It was already standoffish as it was, and it's only fueling the fire. Tensions have been rising with that group for a while, and now there's really serious allegations involved. It's extremely worrying to think what we thought might be happening might actually be happening and they're being investigated for it. Scary stuff. But there's a lot to learn about this organisation. There is cult, religion. I say organisation for lack of a better term, really. I would say it's a cult. Concerned that they might be taking people's passports. Concerned that they might be using vulnerable people. The police have said it's based off one woman's allegations. She had been with the group since 2023. And this is the Ahmadi Religion of Peace and Light. She'd been with him since 2023. Supposedly she went to Sweden, through to Ireland, through to the UK. And in March this year made allegations to the police that obviously forced slavery, modern slavery, forced marriage and SA were the allegations. So they're still being investigated for those. And I think a big fuel of that fire at the moment is a lot of people saying, we told you so. That's a rough thing about it. The I told you so's in it all. You can't say they didn't, because they were. Oh, just my mum screaming the dog in. I've got a little pooch here at the moment, so she's absolutely screaming her head off down there. Oh, let me sort this out, because she's absolutely shouting her head off. Do me head in. Sorry about that. Oh, let me get everything back up and running. Bloody hell, mum. Anyway. Yeah, so the local newspaper actually interviewed the Ahmadi Religion of Peace and Light last year. And it's quite a notable interview that they did. And it was by Ryan Parker on the 21st of July 2025. And they asked a number of questions that the community wanted answering at the time. Did we get full answers? No, we did not. But this is the information the Crew Nub News got from the Ahmadi Religion of Peace and Light. Let me put a link in the chat. How about that? There's a link in the chat. There we go. So, the founder and leader of the Ahmadi Religion of Peace and Light, Abdullah Hashem, has exclusively spoken to Crew Nub News about operating at Webb House, Victoria Avenue. So they asked him, what made you choose to move to Crewe? Firstly, they said, I would like to send our greetings to the entire team at Nub News, its readers, and to the people of Crewe. We moved here in 2021. I'm really happy that you have reached out and thankful for the opportunity to speak to your readers. A bit of a practice answer there, wasn't it? We were previously based in Sweden and had been planning a move to the United Kingdom for a long time. We did a lot of research and looked at many different properties in England, Scotland and Wales. But because of the vast majority of believers in this call lived in England, we decided to move here. And out of all the properties that were available, Webb House and Crewe best suited the needs of our community. We fell in love with the place, and we fell in love with this beautiful little town. Well, it doesn't seem like that. You may have given out free burgers, but intimidating the locals like you've been doing, that's not been showing your love, has it? The Armadi, so this is a sign on the outside. He said, I don't feel there's a need to go into the specifics regarding the arrangement for the purchase of the property. Well, I think actually there is a public interest into that. I think there very much is. Because people want to know, are you using vulnerable people's money that they can't get back, that they can't escape with, they don't have the freedom to do? I think there is public interest in that. They say, but I will say that prior to moving in, Webb House was listed online at the time for $2 million, if I remember correctly, by the owners. So, it was a prior orphanage donkeys years ago, and then it kind of went. Well, it needed some renovation, to be quite honest with you. I can't say building a football pitch on the front as part of that renovation. Each to their own and all that. It'd been derelict for a little while. Although they had security in place to obviously protect the building. It's a grade 2 listed building. And it has got its own rich history. They said, why have you been banned, face legal action and persecution in multiple countries, in particular in Germany and Sweden? So that, the locals were asking these questions. And they said, we have faced persecution in many countries across the Middle East and North Africa, as well as certain countries within Asia, in particular because of our faith, is a tolerant one. So it doesn't directly answer that question straight away, does it? It's like, well, it's even worse. There's even more people that persecute against us. Our doors are open to members of the LGBTQ community, and we do not spread hate. We do not condemn people of other faiths. We teach tolerance and we teach love. Our doors are open. Oh, sorry, I read that bit. Some people in these countries oppose that, and they've arrested our members on that basis. What? Because they accept LGBTQ members. That's not why the police here have raided them. It's not the same. Labelling us as heretics because of our understanding of certain tenets of the faith. I think they've been accused of a lot more than that prior. For example, we don't believe that the head veil in Islam is obligatory. Oh, another word that I trip over. We believe that this is a misrepresentation of the Quran. So why do you have like a form of a veil wearing beanies then? Why does there have to be a hat? As so, the freedoms of our faith are opposed. We have been branded. Again. I think I've just read that bit. Some of our members in Somalia and Kenya have been arrested, tortured, exiled, and in some instances killed. It seems to be they always talk in very broad terms without actually providing specifics. Prior to moving to the United Kingdom, our community lived in Sweden, where, in our opinion, we encountered persecution from the Swedish authorities. This has been documented by certain organisations, such as the Human Rights Without Frontiers. For example, the authorities reported to us for taking drugs. Well, I can Right, in regards to that, it's their movements. Even I've seen them, like, they're constantly canvassing the area around where they live. So there's cars coming in and out all of the time. And I don't mean just like a couple of neighbours parking up. It's like 4 or 5 at a time. And they're constantly revolving in and out, going around the community. And it is intimidating. That alone is intimidating. It looks like there's some kind of drugs operation going on. I've got to admit it. I kind of thought that. They said this was a totally false claim. Members of the community were pulled over as they were driving to and from the headquarters and randomly drug tested. All of the tests were negative and none of our members were ever convicted of possessing any illegal substances. They were never convicted or tried or arrested for breaking any law within Sweden. So why did they what was the instance? That's what people are asking. What's the instance that made you leave Sweden? What was it in the days prior to moving your organisation headquarters from Sweden to the UK? What was that reason? But you said you've been planning it for years. Or, well, for a while prior to moving to the UK. What was that reason? There seems to be big dramatics without knowing the full context of what they're talking about. They said they were continuously pulled over and harassed. The property they lived in was raided on multiple occasions and absolutely nothing was found that broke any law. All they did find was a bunch of law-abiding good citizens, no illegal immigrants, and nothing of the sort. A bit of a convoluted way to say, because there wasn't any. It just makes it sound like there was something, but they just didn't find it. Ooh. As for Germany again, no one from our faith has ever been arrested there. No charges have ever been filed against us. And we were never persecuted in Germany, nor exiled from the country. So they deny being exiled from Germany. They were never expelled or in any way kicked out of Germany. So why didn't they go to Germany then? Why didn't they stay in Germany? That's confusing. Do followers have control over their own money possessions? For example, their house? Yes, absolutely. Anybody who enters in the faith is in full control over their possessions. So their passports. I think that's the question on everyone's lips. As far as I know, correct me if I'm wrong, the children are homeschooled. I'm not sure if the children have been returned, but they were removed by the police when they raided them. And I'm not sure if they've been returned at all. I haven't got a clue. But I think there was 56 children. Around that amount anyway. 50 odd children that were displaced. They said they were providing that community with safeguarding information, and that just feels like that's the police saying there's nothing more we can do for them unless they say something. We can only provide them with information, safeguarding, and hope that they would. Don't tell me that was a bogey on my face. Oh no, it was a hair. Whoo! That would have been embarrassing. Oh, police. Oh! That sounded like a riot van. Oh. Let me check what's going on here. Oh, come on, TikTok, don't be a douche now. I've got to listen out of here anymore. It might be. Because of that shindig. So I'll keep checking in on this every now and then. I'm not going to like full on watch someone else's live stream. That's their live stream, innit? You know, they've got to make their bread and butter. I've got social anxiety, right? I can't go out. It's doing me head in. Can't go out there. When they raided it, it was like being in the middle of a war zone. It was horrible. It was horrible. I feel like if I turn up, it'd be a bad omen. That's something that'll happen. That's called anxiety, Kelly. So, supposedly Billy Moore is going down there. He was seen a couple of hours ago in the Crewe area. Billy Moore's on tour. Let's have a look what's going on. We'll read some more of that article in a bit. It's interesting to learn about him. It doesn't look like anything's kicking off there, so I'll go back to that article. Where's it gone? There it is. They said nobody is forced into anything. Everybody is free to come and go. People are free to live in the way that they would like to live. Are there rules that contradict that, though? We here in the Ahmadi religion of peace and light believe in communal living. It's a mad communal place, innit, when there's no... Where's your farm? Eh? And that's not something that is a foreign concept to followers of Judaism, Christianity and Islam, especially the early adherents of those religions. But you see people that do live like that in communal places, they actually grow together and build together. They've just moved into a big place. Where did all that money come from? They said they used to live together in a community and many of them sold their possessions in order to fund the activities or the spreading of the message of Christianity or Islam. So this was a good question, and whoever asked this question, good on you. Your videos show only males all dressed in black, named as soldiers, which can be seen as intimidating. Why is this? That is bang on true. Come on. As far as them being called soldiers, I'm not quite sure. So outright denying it then. Oh, I'm not sure about that. I think that's a name they chose for themselves. So, well, hang on. So you are sure? You are sure, aren't you? Because you're kind of like, oh, well, they just call it themselves. It's their own fault, because they consider themselves as soldiers for God. So you do know then, you are sure that are here to spread light and peace. So the start of the answer there was a lie. In my opinion, anyway. After all, our name is the Ahmadi religion of peace and light. They said, and it's not just men, women are very active in our call as well. I'm proud to be members of this faith. In what way are they active? by looking after each other. It sounds like being active, like you're planning something. It's weird. Then again, you could mean that they're planning on doing exercises. I don't know. Trying to play devil's advocate with that one. They hold key leadership roles within our church, aid within our call. In lectures that I have given, I often talk about the hugely important role of women in religion. I would also like to highlight the fact that none of our members have ever been convicted of a crime. 25 have been arrested so far for public order offences, and they're going to appear in court in June. 10 of those other members have been arrested for very serious allegations, with 5 having interim slavery and trafficking orders against them for whatever period of time. How the turns have tabled. We are a peaceful community, and we want our neighbours to feel safe, to feel like they can count on us. One, we're not counting on anybody. That's what for? And 2, we don't feel safe. Well, you can't say you want us to feel safe when you're hiding in those hedgeways and acting like we're suspicious for walking in our own community. That's not right. You can't go throwing your drones out and following people and expect people to think, hey, hang on, that's bang out of order. You're not just doing it to TikTokers and YouTubers. You're doing it to members of the community. And you've got... It's a total turnaround what they've just said. They also pride themselves on contributing to the local economy. In what way? When we hire contractors and labourers to carry out work on the property, everyone. Why aren't you doing it? I thought you're communal. It's not a charity, is it? You're just paying someone to do work. Ain't nobody go praises Janet down the street for getting a garden done. Oh, Janet's got a garden done. Good on Janet. Good for her. You don't go, oh, praise to you, you've helped the economy. Oh, it's just part of life, isn't it? And we want our neighbours... Oh, hang on. When we go to the shops, everything we purchase is sourced locally in order to help support the community that we're part of. Get gone, not round here. No, I've seen them in the co-op and everything. What do you mean everything is sourced locally? You'd just be buying from the abattoir on the farm, right? Why is that? How did you source local burgers? Why is there the need for such high-scale security at your crew headquarters, including the handcuffs and the walking guard dogs? When they say walking guard dogs, we talk about the robo-dog. And, yeah, they've got handcuffs, torches, drones, robo-dogs. It seems like in the run-up to being arrested, they've heightened their security. When they first moved in 2021, let me show you the hedge, if it'll let me play it. It'll show the hedge in a minute. Let me just mute that on my side. So, they planted a load of hedges around, these laurel hedges. And they've been growing over time. And that's when they moved in. They were defensive when they moved in. And to be honest with you, nobody really knew who they were. They didn't really much care. They kind of made their own name for themselves. Like I say, when they're flying their drones and they're following people and they're jumping out of bushes. When I say following people, I mean with the drone. Make sure I get that bit correct. But yeah, they had these like laurel hedges around the property. The security has only amped up more and more from that. There wasn't really that much going on in regards to security at the gates. I think that's been ramped up as well with because there have been TikTokers and YouTubers going before these protests, and you know, they were constantly asking them questions. I think anybody could say that's annoying, right? But they've kind of really upped their level of security. When they got the robo-dog, it was like, why? Why have you got a robo-dog? Why is it like a scuttlebug fly robot dog? It's horrible. And it just feels standoffish. It's not nice. It's not nice to live in a community where there's a group of people where there's over 1,000 members. You know, that's not nice. 25 got arrested for public order offences. Enough to take them court in June. I wonder if they'll go to Chester Court or what. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what court they'll go to. Police did give an update. Let me get the update from Crewe Police. Excuse me. So this was the last update by Cheshire Police, and this was 2 days ago. They said officers investigating reports of serious offences alleged to have involved members of a religious group called the Ahmadi Religion of Peace and Light have now concluded their searches at Webb House in Crewe. In March 2026, Cheshire Police were made aware of allegations of serious SOs, forced marriage and modern slavery, reported to have taken place in 2023. All of the offences involved one victim, a woman who was a member of the group at the time the offences occurred. Following a detailed investigation into the allegations, officers executed 3 warrants in Crewe on Wednesday the 29th of April. And I was literally having a brew on the doorstep, saw this helicopter coming over, heard all these sirens and shindig going on. I was like, what's going on? What's happening? So they have somewhat investigated the allegations. And they're continuing to investigate. Officers executed 3 warrants in Crewe on Wednesday the 29th of April, including at Webb House, leading to the arrest of 7 men and 3 women, all of whom have since been released on conditional bail pending further inquiries. Since the warrant, officers have been conducting evidential searches at the property, which are concluded today, Sunday the 3rd of May, and the site has now been released to the residents of Webb House. And once this news got out, people started protesting. A lot of people asking what do they want. Simply, they just want them to leave. They don't care where they go. They don't give a shit. I do. I give a shit. I can't put this on another community. Something needs to be done. And I don't mean in any retaliative way. I don't mean like something needs to be done like. Let's hope police can get their investigation going and finally get to the bottom of it. The 10 suspects who were arrested in relation to the allegations all have strict bail conditions which prevented them from returning to the site. The Chief Superintendent, Gareth Wrigley, said, "Once again, I'd like to thank local residents for their ongoing support and patience following Wednesday's warrants, which resulted in some disruption in the local area. While our searches have now concluded, none of the suspects we arrested will be returning to Webb House, and we will continue to maintain a uniformed presence in the area to provide reassurance." And yet, police have been everywhere. That's correct, they have done that. Police have been absolutely everywhere. As we have stated from the very beginning, this is not an investigation into the religion. Our investigation solely focuses on the serious allegations which have been reported to us. With that in mind, I'd also remind everyone that this remains a live investigation which will take some time, and I'd ask that people do not speculate while the case remains ongoing. Bloody hell, my brain don't want to go bloody making up what could it be, what it could be, you know. So in regards to security, they said, because it is legal to do so in this country, and because, as a persecuted minority, we feel it's necessary protective measures. What with a robot dog? That's not a defensive item, is it? That's a... like what you... There's not even another robot dog to fight it. Fundamentalists have made threats to behead us. You've been living here since 2021. No one's done that. It's not like it's Fort Knox, is it? It's a hedge and a little black fence. You can easily get in there. Not that I'm encouraging anybody to do so, but I'm saying it's not Fort Knox. Well, the boundary to the property anyway. They said we've had radical fanatics on both ends of the spectrum. What spectrum is there of radical fanatics? That have threatened us before. Well, listen, crazy people are crazy people. The security is to ensure the safety of all our community members. Professors who have travelled from Canada and the United States to stay with us for a while have praised the way in which we run and protect our community. Again, why does there need to be people from states and all that? What's that about? Work with your local council or social services. Why aren't they being educated? In a school anyway. Not fair on them really, is it? They're not getting a choice there. They won't ever know any different. Well, it's sad to hear that. But then again, religions are religions, aren't they? Ain't for me to judge on a religion. And it's not really the religion that's the problem. It's what they're claiming members of that religion have done. That's the problem. When the chief of police came to visit us, he also commented that it was a great thing that we had security here and recommended that we maintain this for a while. Oh, that's a lovely bit of gold. That aged like milk, doesn't it? Police said, "Oh, keep up your security, you're going to need it." No! No! And 500 of them. Oh! 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 That pissed me off. And it's in the paper. That pissed me off more. I can read it back. We initially hired a local security company based out of Crewe. Why based out of Crewe? I thought you were helping the local economy. They were incredible. Bitch. That's why we chose out of Crewe, is it? They provide similar services for other businesses, companies, organisations and individuals within Crewe and outside of Crewe. We're not doing anything out of the ordinary. Well, people that are doing things out of the ordinary are going to say we're not doing things out of the ordinary. Aren't they? I'm not snorkeling. Before we moved in, we'd been told that the intruders were hopping over the fence, stealing aluminium. Listen. That happens to any derelict building. Taking drugs, destroying a beautiful building, and breaking all kinds of laws. Oh, they were the saviours of the building. You got his big face painted on the wall. They saved it. Built a football pitch over the potato lawn. Bring back the potato lawn. What was I up to there? We're not doing anything out of the ordinary. That's where I was at. Oh, there we go. Before we moved in, oh, there we go. I'd be really interested to see the statistics. I think that crime in the area may have actually dropped since we've been here in comparison to before. Listen, Batman. Police were like, security is so good. Who's told you that? How are you making that assumption if you haven't seen the statistics? What things are going praise yourself up for? Statistics that you've not seen. They also said, why can't local residents see inside Webb House? Well, someone's fucking house, innit? Ain't nobody coming to see inside mine. Stay away. Nah, you're alright. I'm alright on my own. Why can't local residents see inside Webb House? Local residents can see inside. And they do see inside. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I really don't. Every time they walk by the front gate, they can look and see right through the gate. Just like in the same way as when we pass by most of the houses in Crewe, we walk by their garden fence. Not the same thing, is it? It's not the same. We're not marching in unison. Not chanting away. We're not hiding in bushes. There's some weirdos out there that hide in bushes. We're not following people with drones. Again, there's some weirdos out there that follow people with drones. That's not the same thing. Not the same thing. We can look to the left and we can look to the right. We can also look up. We can also look down. We can look in a matter of directions. And it still won't make fucking sense. This is not a public mosque. It's not a public synagogue. It's not a public church. And even if it was, it would be open during limited hours. Not 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Nothing has changed since we acquired the property. And since we moved in here, it wasn't open to the public before we moved in. It's their property. The gates didn't close with us coming. Before we came, it was a derelict building with private property signs outside telling people do not enter. And prior to that, it was an NHS psychiatric hospital, and nobody was allowed to just freely walk in and enter. That's why it's got some love within the community. It really should have been used back within the community. They said, so we choose to ignore the occasional racist. How did we get to be racist? They said, can people see inside your house? And you're like, boom. But we see some racist people, you know. Where? There've been some after these accusations, some nasty shit being thrown around. But people are ruddy angry. There's no excuse for some of the language that some people have used. But then again, 25 of those members got arrested for public order offences. 10 are on conditional bail, with 5 being on interim of trafficking and slavery injunctions. Fuck. Racist. That's really roused me up a bit. A bit. It's really and a bit contradict each other, don't they? Good English, that. So we choose to ignore the occasional racist or derogatory late-night drunken comment taking aim at our residents here. Late-night drunken comment? Who's that aimed at? I'm sure others would admit to having similar rules for their private homes and office buildings too. What is happening with the homeschooled children inside? How many do you have? And do they call you Dad or God? Oh, I'm not going to like this answer, am I? I have 2 adopted daughters, so none of his own then. Both grown up now and married. They call me Dad. I also have 4 biological children with my beautiful wife. Also, he's got 4 children, which is 2 daughters and 2 sons. All 4 of them also call me Dad. None of them call me God. Well, that's because you're their dad. Technically, it's true, isn't it? The members of the community have their own parents, and they call their own fathers Dad and their own mother's mum. Any reports that everybody refers to me as Dad or God are false. Hi Daisy, hope you're well, my love. They said there's no truth behind them, but I think they are based on exaggeration. Exaggeration of what? How do you exaggerate someone calling you someone else's kids calling you Dad or God? How is that an exaggeration of what? I find that confusing. There is a member of our community here who was never known his biological father. That's just welcome to crew. I have been in this life for years, and I think the world of him. He personally chooses to call me Dad, which I'm honoured by, but I never told him to call me that. So someone does call... someone else's kid does call him Dad then. There's one person... In terms of homeschooling, less than 100 members live full-time at Webb House. The religion is open and many members do not live at the centre but follow the teachings from outside. So they have their own properties. A lot of people, the rumour mill is that some of these people have to give up their properties. And I've actually heard him say that he wants people that can give up their properties. So what, he owns them and they live in them. I don't know if that's how it works, not sure. I believe an old video which momentarily captured this young man's affection for me may have been misconstrued. But I understood what he meant. It is not the case that he worships me as God or as Allah. He just regarded me as a father figure. In terms of homeschooling, less than 100 members live full-time at Webb House. That doesn't answer the question, does it? Whether, when you say in terms of homeschooling, they're not saying 100 of those members are children. That's what the worry is. There is absolutely no requirement to homeschool. Some parents send their kids to mainstream school. Some made the decision to homeschool their children themselves. What do you mean there's no requirement to homeschool? What do you mean? No, every child's got a right to an education. And to be blocked of that right is that's oppression. All documentation has been provided by the parents to the elective home education division of the Cheshire East Council in line with the UK homeschooling recommendations. So there is homeschooling recommendations, so there is a requirement to an extent. And if you can't follow those recommendations, they're going to check up on you, aren't they? Who exactly are you? Why do you believe you are the prophesied riser from the family of Muhammad? And what are your long-term ambitions? He said his name is Abdullah Hasham Abbas Sadiq. My mother is American and my biological father is Egyptian. I am the successor to a man by the name of Ahmed al-Hassan the Yamani, the right hand to God. How does one become the successor? Ahmed al-Hassan is the first of 12 Mahdis, a figure who we believe will appear at the end of time to rid the world of evil and injustice. He is believed to be the descendant of the Prophet Muhammad. So it'll appear at the end of time. Who's creating the end of time? The Prophet Muhammad, on his deathbed, did what all of the previous prophets and messengers and vicegerents did. I might have pronounced that word wrong. He named his successors in the final testament or his will. He said that after him there would be 12 imams, and after them would come the 12 Mahdis, just in the same way that after Jesus came, the 12 apostles, and he passed on the successorship accordingly. Oh, you think they mean that there's no requirement in the religion to homeschool? I understand what you mean. Maybe that's what they mean. But it is worrying. It's very worrying. Like I say, children should have a right to an education. And I hope they are having one. So the names of those Mahdis, the first three at least, are mentioned in the will of the Prophet. They are Abdullah, Ahmed and Al-Mahdi. And so Ahmed is Ahmed al-Hassan the Yamani, the only man throughout the history of Islam, since the death of the Prophet Muhammad and until now, to ever state that he was Ahmed, that was in the will of the Prophet. So he bags the name first. And I am the only man to have come forth and state my name is Abdullah, and I am Abdullah in the will of the Prophet Muhammad. He bags the name too. I am one of the successors of the Prophet Muhammad, and my mission is to restore the religion of Islam to its rightful form and core principles of peace and social justice. Social justice? What's that supposed to mean? I believe it's my duty to reform the religion in a way that is suitable for the current day and age. I strive to act as a light for people in a world that's filled with a lot of darkness right now. My long-term ambitions and goals are to see love and peace prosper and to unite mankind. I seek to challenge the non-working scholars that speak in the name of religion, yet do very dangerous things to our children, like brainwashing them to be radical fanatics and undertake acts of terrorism. Excuse me. Well, those people in glass houses. Many of those who incite violence do so because they think that they are following the will of the Prophet Muhammad. I seek to teach what the Prophet Muhammad really taught and preached, spreading religion through peace and tolerance. They also asked, it is claimed you perform miracles. Is there any evidence for this? So during the protests, doves were seen flying. But many people said they saw members of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light release these doves from like baskets. They said, I have never claimed to perform miracles. No, isn't it other people that are saying that? That doesn't mean it's right or it's more testimony because somebody else has said it. No. The miracles made by Jesus or by Moses or by Muhammad come from the testimonies of people that say they witnessed these miracles. Based off hearsay then. I say that all miracles, all power, all might and all glory comes from Allah, the Most High, or comes from God. Nothing can happen except by His permission. God allows miracles to take place at the hands of His representatives in order to verify the message and to grant a gift to people who believe with all their hearts. So He's the only person that can get the message through God. But He's not acting like God, because that's something else. Comes in like, don't shoot the messenger. God told me. There are indeed people in my call and in my community who claim they have witnessed and experienced miraculous events that cannot be explained by logic or science or any other kind of explanation that the mind can reach. So he is kind of saying that he does. So there are claims from women who have left the group that you told women you had a divine right to take them as spiritual or physical partners. Can you explain this? Croon Up News! Oh my god! I forgot about this question. Oh my god! Oh, why did you have to say that word? Monogamous. Oh, I said it. Monogamous describes a relationship or a person or animal that has only one sexual or romantic mate at a time. So, he believes to have one partner at a time, then his wife, I take that. Or, I don't know, could be one at 5 p.m, one at 6 p.m. I'm joking, I don't know. What is the purpose in Crewe? How long do you plan to stay here? And what is your message to the local community? Oh, sorry, I didn't read the rest of the answer. He says, I'm monogamous, and my wife is my spiritual partner, soulmate, and love of my life. Any suggestion that I have a divine right to claim another person in any sense is just entirely false. So, completely denies it. What is your purpose in Crewe? Wow! What sound did I just make then? Wow! I don't know what that was. all their answers have been quite big. And then when it comes to a question like, there are claims from women who have left the group. From women. This is from the Nub News. There are claims from women. The police saying there's one woman that's made claims. This, I don't know if this is in reference to the same thing. But why is the answer to that really short? That's telling, isn't it? What is your purpose in Crewe? How long do you plan to stay here? And what is your message to the local community? They said, I love this town. I've no current plans to move. They said, my message to the local community is that now is the time to unite, not to hate one another. It's not part of a bad superhero movie when they're like, oh, we all need to come together to, we've been working against each other, let's all come together. Arkan's Tiger said, being a religion of peace, they're struggling to show unity amongst other sects, and definitely with other religions. I can definitely say that's true for the community. Like, being a member of the community, it's not been a very nice experience. At best, I'd say it's been quite intimidating. They said, moving forward, I really want to engage more with the local community to help anybody who may need it and join forces with others on projects that will benefit our beautiful town. Let us start a grassroots movement. We're not trying to recruit, but would love to connect with more of our neighbours. We can do and achieve a lot together. And just a random question at the end. Do you take members' blood as claims suggest? The fuck? What claims where? Come on. Do you know what? Where did those claims come from? We said absolutely not. Damn right denial. That's the shortest answer. The two most important questions we got the shortest answers for. I just feel like they dodged absolutely everything. And every time they did answer the question, it was more of, we're persecuted. No, they've been here since 2021. They weren't persecuted here. Let me just have a little mooch on Mr. Manchester, see what's going on. Make sure everything's okay. A-okay. A lot of people have been complaining about kids going to the protest. Not good. Not good. Yeah, they go round the houses with when they're expected to answer questions. They agreed to the questions. Why answer them? What's the point of that? Is that Michael Barrymore in the back? No, that'd be a TikTok I'd like to see. Michael Barrymore giving his take on what's going on. Sorry if that's a bit of dark humour. What's going on with the shouting here? It's such a good job I haven't got the... No, I haven't got it on that side. Oh. Let's just pause that for a minute. I'm not sure how many people's out there right now. There was a good number of people the other day, I'm telling you. A good number of people. I couldn't cope with that. I couldn't cope. Right, let me have half a ciggy, right? I've been on an hour, I can't last. Don't get me wrong, I've had, like, issues with them following me with a drone. Jumping out of the bushes. Just things like that. Just another thing they'll do is when I'm walking through the gully here, let me get my screen back up while I'm explaining. When I'm walking through the gully here, they'll bang the gate. Things like that. Believe me, you don't want to hear someone bang on the bloody metal gate when you're walking through a gully at midnight. Don't want it. And don't go asking why I'm walking through gullies at midnight. I was going to say it's because I can't remember, but actually I do remember. It's getting popped from the shop. And some ciggies at payday. Just go for a midnight stroll sometimes. Listen to a bit of Radiohead as I'm walking down. Bop my head a little bit, not causing no one else any trouble. I used to have a little spot at the top of the street where I used to sit. And they took the freaking benches away. And there were some beautiful little flowers there. Watched them for a couple of months last year. They're beautiful. Big alliums. I'll show you. I love an allium. These beautiful things. Absolutely gorgeous. Look at this bad boy. Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. You should sit and watch them grow. Gorgeous little flowers. Oh, is Billy Moore there? No, that's a policeman. Can you imagine the local curries selling out of all their handheld filming devices? They're well in the money. Oh, she's gonna get arrested. Let's get some volume on. She's gonna get arrested for criminal damage, isn't she? What's she doing kicking the bloody gate? What's that gonna do?
More people trying to get down over there. What's that? Yeah.
There's a railway line along there.
We're on it.
Shut yourself out.
Yeah. Not a brain cell between. It's got nothing to do with this, people. Some.
It's not good. Hang on. I can't talk and listen at the same time. My brain doesn't work on that level. Why? I don't understand why there's like 11-year-olds there. What's the point of this? What the fuck is that? Is that an handbag? Why has everyone got a bubble coat on a man bag? What's going on? Come on, do a trade-off. Let's do a trade-off. Let's get rid of the bubble coat for the cult. Even they might consider it. Even they might be like, do you know what? We said we were going to help out the community, Jesus. Well, they won't say that, would they? Sorry. But they might say, go on, you never know. If you get rid of the bubble coat, we'll go. I'll fucking leave. I found another article in relation to the Ahmadi religion of light, of peace and light, sorry. Not sure if they're on a side, but there seems to be they've used information from their websites and accredited sources. So I thought I'd have a little read through this article as well. It's well written by Dr. Sarah Harvey, Senior Research Officer at Inform, and was published on the 5th of February 2025. So sometime before that article that I've just read with the Croon Up News. If you want to read that, I'll put that in there. So you should be able to see the link to the Croon Up News there. I've got to do tea soon. I'm doing beef stroganoff. Nom nom nom. I've left it a bit late, haven't I? Just a bit late. Fucking hell. But I'll read this article first. Let's see what's going on with Mr. Manchester. You know what I did the other day? I went to the shop, bought some Marmite. I had Marmite on toast. Oh, I absolutely adore that stuff. Absolute heaven. Not seen one sign yet, though. Except for the Ahmadi's religious signs. Not seen them put any signs up. And then again, who am I to judge? I haven't been there, have I? Who am I to judge? Let me just nip the toilet and I'll come and read that article. I'll leave this running for a quick second. I'll put you some sound on for a minute. Right, let me turn that off. I was borrowing your content for a quick second. I needed the toilet. Sorry, Mr. Manchester. Oh, did I throw his TikTok in? Did I put that in the chat? I think I did. I'll throw it in again in case anyone wants to watch live. They're doing a live version of it. So, the article by Dr. Sarah Harvey for the Religion Media Centre. Can't say I've ever heard of the Religion Media Centre before, so I don't really know how good they are, how bad they are, what their stance on things is. But I found this an interesting article. They said the Ahmadi religion of peace and light, known as AROPL, is a millenarian and esoteric new religious movement with roots in Twelver Shia Islam. Members believe, in common with the Twelver Shia Islam, that the 12th Imam, Muhammad al-Mahdi, known as the rightly guided one, did not die, but rather entered a state of occultation to the return at the end times. Oh, I've connected again. Right, okay, we went offline for a second. However, AROPL members differ in their belief that humankind is now in end times and that the 12th Imam has returned. The movement's literature states that it is a new religion foretold by the holy household of the Prophet Muhammad to emerge in end times. That is the one true universal religion, and that its members are God's chosen people. So like disciples in a sense. Personally, being non-religious, it just sounds like the same old stuff to me. I don't mean to be offensive, but it does. It just sounds like the same old stuff. It is important to note that the AROPL has no connection to the Sunni-derived Ahmadiyya Muslim community, sometimes known as the Ahmadis, funded and persecuted in Pakistan. So they're not related to those. The AROPL began in Iraq and is now active across 40 countries. It estimates that 7,000 people have had contact with the movement. In 2018, the movement had a base in Sweden, but since 2021, it has had its headquarters in England, here in Crewe. Here, 150 adults and children live in the communal setting in the Grade 2 listed building in Crewe. So, the 1,000 members living there, that's now gone down to 150. Again, like I said, I don't know the true numbers of how many live there. In 2024, I can't say there's like 1,000 people. I've seen 1,000 people there. I can't say that. Only ever seen groups of so many. The largest group of them that I've seen is when they were marching. In 2024, the AROPL is in the process of acquiring registered charity status with the Charity Commission. In the United States, it is treated as a 501c3 tax-exempt non-profit organisation with church status. It's tax-exempt here now. How did the movement begin? The Ahmadi religion of peace and light has its origins in Basra, Iraq, in the late 1990s. In 1999, the founder, Ahmed al-Hassan, born 1968, that's important, claimed to have met the 12th Imam in person and was asked by him to take on a religious mission. Ahmed al-Hassan became recognised by his followers as a Yamani, the right hand to God. In Twelver Shiism, I probably butchered that word, sorry. The Yamani is a pre-Messianic figure whose role is to support and pave the way for the Mahdi by unifying believers and preparing a community to embrace the Mahdi on his return. Sounds like any other religion to me. It's like the end time thing, though, is just dead concerning. The end, but it's the same with the Bible, isn't it? The end times are coming. Jesus flooded the earth. In 2002, Ahmed al-Hassan denounced the establishment of Shia Islam in Iran and Iraq, claiming it to be corrupt. He then went into hiding and was last seen in Iraq in 2007. After this time, al-Hassan's followers divided into fractions. From 2015, the AROPL, also known as the Black Banners of the East, it's not the first time I've heard that. They were prior known as the Black Banners of the East. That sound like pirates. Has been the largest faction. Another faction is the White Banners, or the Office of Najaf. AROPL claims that the White Banners are under the control of the Iraqi government, and the White Banners have excommunicated the AROPL. While the different factions believe that Ahmed al-Hassan is the Yemeni, they are otherwise separate from one another. It's like controlled opposition, isn't it? The Ahmadi religion of peace and light is led by Abdullah Hassan Abba al-Sadiq, who was born in America in 1983. In 2015, Abdullah Hassan claimed that Ahmed al-Hassan instructed him to spread the word of the appearance of the Mahdi. Abdullah Hassan is recognised as the AROPL, as the Qaim, or the Riser, who carries the command of God, of the family of Muhammad. The AROPL draws authority from the document called the Will of Prophet Muhammad, the existence of which is disputed by Sunni Muslims. The AROPL states that in the will, Prophet Muhammad lists his successors after him, which will comprise 12 Imams and 12 Mahdis. The names of the first two of the 12 Mahdis are written in the will of Ahmed and Abdullah. They believe that this refers to Ahmed al-Hassan and Abdullah Hashem, who both paved the way for the next Mahdi. They are hence three consecutive figureheads with the AROPL. Ahmed al-Hassan the Yemeni, Abdullah Hashem Abba al-Sadiq, the Qaim Riser, and the Imam Mahdi is yet to be revealed, but who is known by al-Hassan and Abdullah Hashem. Let me have a drink of water. What do members believe? The beliefs of the Ahmadi religion of peace and light are contained in their sacred text, The Goal of the Wise, the Gospel of the Riser of the Family of Muhammad, which was published in 2022. This contains Abdullah Hashem's revelations and other teachings, many of which were taught to him by al-Hassan, either in physical or spiritual meetings, including dreams and visions. The book includes extracts from the Abrahamic scripture, dialogue between Abdullah Hashem and Ahmed al-Hassan, and images. Fucking breathe. It draws on teachings from 12 Shia, Gnostic Christianity, Western esotericism, and more, and aims to integrate the world's major and minor religion traditions. It is believed by members to be divinely inspired. The Goal of the Wise outlines the core beliefs of the AROPL, which include belief in the supremacy of God, the seven covenants, agreement made with God, the divine just state, reincarnation, karma, and more. Sorry, it's the and more bit. The AROPL believes in 7 covenants made between God and Adam, Noah, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, and Ahmed al-Hassan. Each covenant succeeds the next as, while each was valid at the time. They were broken by humans, for which they were published, and then a new covenant comes into being. The covenants are considered legal declarations of the will of God. Members believe that the 7th covenant will be the culmination of all the efforts of the previous prophets and will involve the formation of the divine just state in which all the religions are unite. It reminds me, right, what was that film where all the aliens came over? And there's one where there's a big high-rise building, a big skyscraper, and all the people are partying at the top. And they're all like, welcome aliens, we've got a party for you. And then the aliens just shoot them all up. That movie, anyway, it reminds me of that. I don't know where the correlation of that is. It's a gorgeous building, there's no doubt about that. The building is beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's a shame that it was derelict for some time as well. I think they believed they were going to it was going to be turned into flats at one point. That was a worry. Independence Day. That's the movie. I knew someone would get it. Thank you, Arcans. They said it draws on teachings from 12 Ashia. Oh, I've read that bit. Hang on. Have I read this bit? The goal of WISE outlines the core beliefs of the AROPL, which include belief in the supremacy of God, the 7 covenants, agreement made with God, the divine just state, reincarnation, karma, and more. Yeah, I read that bit. The AROPL is a progressive millenarian group believing in imminent salvation in the form of the divine just state. The central mission of the group is to build a divine just state which will be ruled by a divinely appointed king. This will be a theocratic state with the king appointed by and a representative of God rather than through the process of democratic election. While the AROPL is opposed to the idea of democracy, it respects elected governments and does not seek to overthrow them. We've got to respect them. They didn't respect the police, did they, when they raided? 25 of them were kicking off. Well, they've been accused of kicking off by the police anyway. Followers claim that throughout history, corrupt elites have been able to use democracy to fulfill their selfish desires, resulting in the suffering of the people. Their notion of the divine just state is based on the utopian state described in Plato's Republic, led by the philosopher king. The Mahdi's are the philosopher kings. The Ahmadi religion of peace and light believes that the divine just state will guarantee religions freedom and equality. It will initially be established in one area of the world and then will spread. The group claims that the important countries for the rise of the state include Iraq, Egypt, Turkey, Germany and Sweden. Well, the UK ain't in there, is it? Why are you here? The official language of the divine just state will be English, which the movement claims is the easiest language. Won't catch me saying that. Ain't no easiest language in my book. The community in the UK is living in preparation of the divine just state. The AROPL also has beliefs that could be described as esoteric. For instance, its followers believe that dreams serve important functions, such as revealing prophecies, receiving commands from God, warnings and preparations. The ability to interpret dreams is seen as a sign of a messenger from God. Oh, I've been on the old, let me interpret my dreams. I've been on that little journey. It's fun. Followers believe in different types of reincarnation and that the Shia doctrine of Raja, the Great Return, the return to life of some of the deceased after reappearance of the 12th Mahdi. In the same reincarnation, it's the same as reincarnation, and they also believe that humans are the spiritual reincarnations of the prophets. It sounds like just most religions to me. Other beliefs held by the AROPL are conspiratorial in nature. The AROPL is creationalists believing that Adam was the first human, although there were other races on Earth before humans, and that the theory of evolution was spread by Ibils, the devil, Antichrist. Members believe that the existence of both shape-shifting, alien-human hybrids on Earth and ape-like species that resemble Bigfoot and the Yeti, the Sasquatch, that they call the Hayton, the Sasquatch. They believe that the US President George Washington was actually Adam Weishaupt, commonly believed to be the founder of the Illuminati, and that the American government remains under control of the Illuminati. So that's why they're not going to America then. They believe it's under the control of the Illuminati. This, followers believe, is confirmed by motifs resembling the one eye representing the devil in American advertisements and currency. Oh. The AROPL also believes that modern currency is a scam and will be eliminated in the divine just state where everyone will contribute what they can and their needs met by the community. Is it going to do a crypto coin? Is there a crypto coin? What do members practice? Members' religious practice includes prayer, both individually and collectively, meditation, studying the goal of the wise collectively in sermons or individually, and with others in an attempt to spread the faith, also online. The focus of the movement is a missionary work conducted primarily through media activity. AROPL Studios Limited is the official media outlet that propagates the religion and is run from its UK headquarters. Its satellite channel, Black Banners of the East, so they still associate with that name, was launched in 2017 and has produced documentaries and programmes for followers of the movement. In 2024, the AROPL launched a second satellite channel, The Mahdi Has Appeared, which broadcasts to Africa, Europe and the Middle East. If it's on YouTube, it's everywhere, innit? Well, then again, there are restrictions, aren't there? Well, I don't know if they've got restrictions, but there can be restrictions on YouTube for certain countries. Other significant media used by the AROPL include its YouTube account compromising videos about beliefs and reports on human rights issues. The outlet also produces short-form content across all social media. Since 2023, it has hosted a podcast series, The School of Divine Mysteries. The Face media presence is a main activity in which followers are able to participate through sharing their experience and reasonings for joining. To join the call would be members need to send a pledge of allegiance to Imam Mahdi on video. So, some kind of scripture that happened millions of years ago now, it's got to be done on video. How does the group differ from other Islamic traditions? Good question. The AROPL believes that 99% of every religion is wrong, including Islam. It views itself as the true Islam and universal religion, claiming that the Quran has been corrupted. So they somewhat base it on the Quran as well. It claims that many of the beliefs and practices of Islam were valid for the sixth covenant, but are no longer valid or necessary for the seventh covenant. The Ahmadi religion of peace and light has different practices for Islam, most notably its use of the lunar calendar, its religious observance, and its social attitudes. Rather than praying 5 times a day, members have no obligatory prayers, but consider prayer as a constant state where believers talk to God from their heart. Members celebrate Ramadan in December. Yeah, we've heard they let off fireworks during their celebrations. They can be loud. And I've lived next to the park for a long time, and their fireworks can be loud, but these have got a bang to them, I'm telling you. Terrifying. When you don't expect it, it just comes up. Oh my God, it terrifies you. They believe the true Kaaba is not in Mecca, in Saudi Arabia, but in Petra, Jordan, and followers believe that the tree within the Garden of Eden was Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad. In a previous incarnation, a belief considered blasphemous in Turkey. Within the group, headscarves are not obligatory for women, and while homosexuality is not encouraged, the group accepts gay people and has demonstrated in support of the LGBTQL plus rights. Attitudes towards alcohol is also more relaxed than in Islam. It is arguably its belief and practices that diverge from beliefs in Islam that have led to the group's controversy and religious persecution in many Muslim majority countries. So, two of the main things that the Muslim communities boast of not touching is alcohol and not accepting gay rights. And I can't say if that's the whole of the Muslim communities, but we know there are Muslim communities that truly do not accept them. But it's like they've gone, oh, look, there's a gap in the market for these two, and we'll provide a place for these two types of people. They said it is arguably its beliefs and practices that diverge from beliefs in Islam that have led to the group's controversy and religious persecution in many Muslim majority countries. I can't say it sounds appealing to myself, but then again, nor does any religion. I can't say I want to go out of my way and convince people not to believe in a God. I'm not really like that. There was a time when I wanted to argue with everyone about it, but not really, not anymore. I think the word tolerance gets thrown about a lot, but you have to try and... I think it sounds a bit standoffish when you say, I'll be tolerant of these people, but... it's not tolerance, it's just having a bit of space, isn't it? Like I said, they've been here since 2021. And yeah, we've moaned about certain things about them. But it's not really about their religion as a whole. It's the accusations that have been made that people were worried about were going to be made. And they've been made. They said they've faced persecution in numerous Islamic majority countries where its beliefs are perceived as blasphemous by state and religious authorities. In Algeria in 2022, so a year after they moved to Crewe, 18 adult members of the group were arrested and charged with participation in an unauthorised group. Oh, so we have like it's not a prescribed organisation, and so I'll guess that that's the same kind of thing. And denigrating Islam charges were dropped later that year after pressure from the human rights organisations. However, followers who remain in Algeria have been subject to online monitoring and surveillance of their activities by police. In 2022, 15 members of the group were arrested and mistreated by police in Iran. While these members were detained, they were pressured to recant their faith. The Iranian government has produced documentaries and literature critical of the movement and has a government in Iraq. That'd be interesting to read, wouldn't it? Or see. Yeah, it's meet in the middle, isn't it? Meet in the middle, like, this country has laws for a reason, don't they? And let's hope that they are abiding by those laws. It'd be horrifying to think that what people thought might be correct, but that seed's been sown now, hasn't it? In Malaysia in 2023, the religion experienced persecution because of the group's involvement in the LGBTQL plus protests. 8 followers were arrested. 2 of those moved to the UK, and in May 2023, 104 members in Turkey faced police brutality as they attempted to claim European Union asylum because of religious persecution at the Turkish-Bulgarian border. The United Nations and Human Rights Without Frontiers, as well as other organisations, played a significant role in bringing Western media attention to the persecution, as did members who filmed live-streamed their own detention. Live-streamed it? Okay. After holding them for 5 months. The religion has also been subject to discrimination by the authorities in Sweden. In 2018, about 170 members, including leader Abdullah Hashem, were living in Sweden, having registered a farm property in Savsjon, Sweden, for training and education. What are they training for? Between 2019 and 2022, the AROPL experienced a series of raids and inspections on the property by Swedish police. No illegal activity was discovered. Swedish authorities continued raiding members' homes. Although followers were residing in Sweden legally, many applications were rejected by the Swedish Migration Agency and members moved to the UK. Human rights applications were rejected by the Swedish migration agencies and members moved to the UK. Human Rights Without Frontiers suggests these raids were part of a campaign of persecution began by disgruntled ex-members. Why would it be ex-members though? Why is it ex-members that are only doing this? Making these accusations? And Islamic extremists what Islamic extremists, with a view to preventing the AROPL from establishing itself in Sweden. But if they were Islamic extremists and they thought you were doing all this bad stuff, why would they be bothered? Why would they try and stop it? Why would they care? Because we have alcohol and gay people. In July 2024, 2 members of the AROPL were jailed for 30 days on charges of hooliganism in Azerbaijan for engaging in missionary work in a public square. At time of writing, they are preparing to appeal the European Court of Human Rights. Also, in 2024, 6 members of the faith are on trial in Jordan for insulting religious feelings of others and inciting sectarian strife. Different place, different grace, innit? They face jail terms of up to 3 years. This follows a number of years of persecution in Jordan, where members have been interrogated and subjected to violence. Their place of worship has been closed, their satellite channel banned, and some members have been forced to flee to other countries. So this is a bit of a woe is me article in regards to the religion, but it gives their side to the story. It's only right to give their side to the story. Although this says it's like a fact sheet, it's not. I don't know how factual it is due to the fact that a lot of the information they're providing is, again, round the houses. We don't get the full story. It just seems like there's bits missing. Arkan said, when you have a supernatural experience, it's less a faith thing, becoming a knowing. So I'm guessing you're saying when you experience it, you know. They also say, I think they're being scapegoated because they're not being the ones that act in any kind of terrorist ways when other groups defo do. We want all terrorist groups out there. That, as far as I'm aware, they've not been accused of being terrorists. That's the marching makes you worry. It really, really does. That's not a usual custom for the UK. With their robot dog as well. The security guards with handcuffs. It's just not custom for the UK to be over the top like that. And there are parts of them that are secretive, and they've got every right to be secretive, but then we've also got every right to question it and to be wary of it. And sadly, that's just what a lot of people do feel. But then again, that's not the whole of Crewe. There are people in Crewe that probably just don't give a shit. We saw some people at the protest that put it straight down to racism, and that there clearly are people that are waiting for something to kick off to join in and just be part of a group of people arguing. I ain't got time for that. And there's plenty of people out there that will condemn people being like that. That's not what other people are genuinely worried about. I can't say that I'm on the idea of get out, get out, get out. That isn't my place to be. But I am on the position of I'm worried. It generally does worry me. It's just not part of my day-to-day life. And again, I'm not a religious person in any way. But there is a concern. There really is concern. Normally when people put up so many barriers, it's because they've got something to hide. And you don't really want or have trouble with your neighbours. You don't want it. It's been there for years, that building. doing its own thing. There was even a psychiatric hospital there. It didn't cause trouble for the community. When it was an orphanage, it didn't cause trouble for the community. It now seems to be because it's being used as a headquarters for this religion, cult, organisation, whatever it is you want to call it. They're not really accustomed to the community, and the community, you know, there's a lot of rumours spreading round, and they needed that seed to be spread, and it has now. Now the accusations have come out, and they're being investigated, and there's restrictions on them, and the allegations that 25 of them kicked off. Kind of like seeing another side to them. That's sad to see. Sad to see how some people acted at the protest as well. Personally, if I would have been able to get out there, the nerd in me says, provide some information to safeguard those people. Be careful. Be careful. If the accusations are true, you've got to be wary and careful that these people might be victims. They might not even know that they're victims if they are. We don't even know yet if they are. But when they say it's ex-members that have accused of this, it's definitely something that's notable and needs to be investigated. Sadly, if it's something that one person has done before and then another follows, and then another follows, then surely you would want, if that was someone doing it to a member of your group, maybe you would want the same action taken, them to be investigated. But I'm of the stance that the police need to do a thorough investigation. But it sounds like the police have investigated prior, and with the information that they've got, it was enough to send 500 police officers. And that's the most concerning thing. I can't speculate and guess why. I don't want to be the person that puts two and two together. I've not heard of anyone saying that they've made. The only comment that I've heard that's been a concern was, actually there's a couple. One, when they were kicking off with the police, they said your time will come. That's a concern. That's a real big concern. And then when they released that video to say that they're disappointed in the UK, that's a concern. We call those red flags. So it is worrying. It is worrying. And I guess there's got to be people that have that take that they think that they think they're a terrorist organisation. You're all dressed in black. They're all dressed in black. They're extremely secretive, and they're doing these marches. If you were to look on the outside in, I think you would have the same concerns. It's not just about the members. I think that the forefront of everyone's brain is those children, and we can only hope for the best for those. That's the main outcome. What's the best position for them? As long as they're happy and healthy. Can't say that any raid is going to make them happy and healthy. It must be absolutely terrifying for those children. Absolutely terrifying. And I suppose there are definitely some people that would consider them to be a T word organisation. But then there's thousands of members that believe that, that it's completely the opposite of that. And I think that a lot of the community are saying, look at their actions. Well, the only ones I can attest to is being standoffish and a bit antisocial. I can definitely attest to that. I don't think it really said anything about British culture. I think it just came across as threatening. It was like, oh, I'm trying to be edgy. Trying to be edgy. You're not edgy. So it sounds like a bit like a red flag. Don't we need to be throwing those kind of things out of there? Concerning. Let me put this article in the comments for anybody that wants to read that. Have your own take on it. I tried my best not to do too much of a take. It was a bit more information about their religion. Right, I can sit there and rip the shit out of everything all day. Sometimes I want to just get down to reading. Just provide information that I found online. Like I say, it sounds like any other religion to me. There's not much difference. What they're training for, I do worry about. I do worry about things like that. When they say that, to the police, your time is coming. No, it isn't. It's a public service. At the end of the day, something we need. But I saw the video of the leader being arrested. And it looked like he started pulling at the police and what have you not when they tried to cuff him. And then this woman started screaming. Bit annoying. Or a bit of vocal fry then. Don't forget this live stream's not to encourage anyone to go round there or say anything to him. That's not my place to do that. And I've held out for ages talking about it. But there's been a massive effect on our community. And so obviously it's something I wanted to talk about. But I left it a while. I didn't want to be that person to accuse. But I'll definitely be following it. Checking out what's happening in June. See if anything else happens in between. I'm surprised the National Crime Agency haven't spoke about it yet. We know Interpol was also... I wonder if everyone's gone home. It's pitch black out there now. Right, oh. Try again. Is he live? He might be. Oh, he is. It's pitch black out. In a different time zone, I swear to God. It's only the other street over. How was it pitch black? Blacker than black out there. I think this is Mr. Manchester again on TikTok. Excuse me. It doesn't seem like much has gone on. Someone said they've got in the garden. I hope they don't mean that property. Well, you know, you're going to protest. You're going to get some signs up at least. You know. Well, again, though, what are they going to write on them? Get out. That's great, isn't it? That's really informative. A same bloody 6 letters. Great. Really want to read that over and over again. What annoyed me, there was people at the protest that were saying things like to the other protesters, you sound like a lefty. It could just be discipline and order, but it does raise a red flag. It's just something that I think, you know, we're in this country. There's been many terror attacks. One of those terror attacks was the 7/7 bombings. Absolutely atrocious. Absolutely atrocious, those bombings. You know, we suffered through the war. Not me, personally. But, you know, our ancestors suffered through the war. Our great-grandparents, our grandparents. It's been tough couple of 100 years for the UK. Terrorism being something that's caused quite a lot of damage. Unfortunately, they can't shake that feeling of fear. People may say, oh, all this comes from a place of fear. Damn right it does. We're scared that, you know, something might happen and no one did anything to stop it. We're forever hearing things in the news about this, like Axel Rudabakana. He was known to police. There were warning signs. And all the people that should have done something did nothing. He went out and hurt a lot of people. Now, I'm not saying a lot of children. I'm not saying that this organisation, religion, cult, whatever you want to call it, is the same as that person. I'm not saying that. But we have to ensure that they're not, and we have to ensure that we prevent such things. There's been many terrorist organisations that do such things, and they don't care about who they do it in front of. It's a sad matter of the fact. Are they playing Kirby? I think they are. Oh no, there's a car. I get smashed on the head with a basketball, they hurt. Tried headbutting one once, wasn't a good idea. Oh, they're all in the road and everything. Police aren't even bothered now. Police are like, oh, go. Everyone go home. I mean, the red coat's been there ages. I don't really need someone's kid on the screen. Yeah, so that's a bit of both sides. There was information from the Crew Nub News in regards to an interview they did with the Ahmadi religion of peace and light. Excuse me, one sec. And then we've had a fact sheet about the Ahmadi religion of light from, what was it called again? The Religion Media Centre. Links in the comments there. And we've seen a bit of Mr. Manchester on TikTok. Again, there's a link to him in the comments section. So go and have a watch of the protest. Hopefully nothing kicks off anymore. And everybody's safe. That's the main objective. As far as I know, nobody's been seriously injured out of anybody. With that, There's an allegation that police officers have been assaulted, but I'm not sure if there's any serious injuries in regards to that. I hope not. I hope not. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. I'll try and provide some more information about the religion, what I find. Just reading through it, giving my opinion on it. And I'll be following these allegations quite closely to see what happens and see if, if there is an outcome to it. There seems to be a number of times when they've been persecuted and legally they've managed to get some of the members. Other times they've not been able to, but they've said they've had to flee every time for a plethora of things. Of all that reading, you don't really get the full details of what happened and what they're claiming. It's just like a brief description of everything all of the time. I'm not convinced. Sadly. But then again, no religion on this earth has convinced me thus far. I'm going to go off now and make my stroganoff. I've got a tender beef stroganoff downstairs waiting. And I'm going to go make it. So, until I'm live next time, thank you all for watching. And have a great night.